Welcome to another Squad Games video. Today is episode 155 for the podcast, and it's going to be a little bit more of a visual one, so we're also doing it on YouTube. My partner in crime down below me, Giacomo, and then we also have Janis. You know, she's a longtime Patreon member and just an amazing human in general, and a very good competitive player. So we look forward to having her insights on this balanced data slate for Kill Team. There's a lot of changes. They changed 16 teams and a core rule, and we're going to go over all of it. So strap in. It's going to probably be a long one. If you know us, that's like our motif. We just make long content, you know? Yeah, we like to talk, you know? We roll dice and we like to talk about it, right? Yeah, that's an old motto. Also, I have made a few cool things, right? So we've made this little, what is this called? PNG, you know, showing us who got nerfed, slight nerfs, big nerfs, or the big buffs, as we like to call them here at Squad Games, and the general statistics. As we can see, Angels of Death is going to be a hot topic because we're all pretty big fans of Angels of Death. I know not everyone is, and if you're not a fan of Angels of Death, you might not like this podcast, or you might disagree. You might disagree with some of our talking points here today. Janis, it's wonderful to have you on. How have things been on the East Coast?
Hot, very hot.
Oh,
it's
nice.
We've been dealing with a lot of heat out here on the East Coast.
That's fair.
Been rather steamy the past couple of weeks here.
Yeah, it's been relatively like not bad here.
Yeah, these last few days.
It's been like mid 80s, you know. I think Monday was just super overcast.
You also don't have the humidity out there.
You're not wrong.
Thank
goodness. You're not wrong.
Because there's been days that I've stepped outside and it's like, oh, it's soup out here.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Have you seen Superman yet?
No, I have not been able to see it yet, but I really want to.
Please do.
It's awesome.
I got to see my boy Guy.
Yeah. I knew you would Guy.
We found the Guy fan.
I'm a huge Guy Gardner fan. And when I saw the previews and he had the bowl cut, I was like, thank you, Lord. They did it.
Nathan Fillion does Guy right. Definitely.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see him again in the Lanterns.
Yeah.
Very excited. You know, I got to tell this to Mike Cortez. He should watch this because we like to talk about movies, me and one of my buddies, right? He says that Superman was not the greatest comic book movie of all time. Let me just tell you, Superman was so good, it is causing the Marvel universe to reset. Okay? Just think about that. Okay? Take that, Mike. All right. So we're going to move on.
Well, I'm just happy that there's a superhero movie that's not cynical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's feel good, you know? That's kind of the James Gunn stereotype, you know, like all the Star Guardians are pretty feels good.
Yeah.
And Superman's very much feels good movie. Makes me happy. But back to Kill Team, everyone. Sorry about our tangent. There's some interesting changes here on the balanced data slate. I guess first let's go over the PNG that I made. You can find this on our Discord, right? So feel free to join the link down below. Come join the squad. You got to choose if you're a circle squad, a hexagon squad, a square squad, or a triangle squad. You know, if you're an OG, you'll know what those mean. If not, you know, that's all right. Janis, which squad are you?
I think I was circle squad.
Nice. Giacomo?
I believe, what was I? Let me go. I could just check right here.
I'm a hexagon.
I think I'm also a hexagon.
Nice.
But
hexagon's where it's at, man.
I can't.
Nacho for life.
All right. So, as we can see, Hierotek Circle had a 57% win rate, and they got a nerf. It wasn't, in my opinion, a very big nerf. It nerfs a play style.
It
sure.
It nerfs the toxicity.
Yeah, but
And
here's the
and
part.
it's also a clarification for something that people have been playing wrong.
Well, some people, I will say that people tried to play that incorrectly at some of my events, and I said it right. I set the straight. It was relative. People that have been playing this rule wrong, obviously it needs the nerf. They've been kind of playing at all of my events already with the correct interpretation without, the -1 inch that we'll talk about here with Hierotek.
Right.
And a few other things I think they could do. Could they always do it with expended operatives? I guess we'll find out.
It always had to be an expended operative that you do the teleport with.
That's why you do it with guarded models. Cool.
Yeah, but they did change guard goes away if you're replaced.
Nice.
Now.
This is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. It makes them less cheesy. Who would have thought that Games Workshop keeps nerfing the cheese and everyone keeps saying like, hey, I can jump off ladders. No, you can't. It's cheesy. Stop it.
But the what's it called? Magnify through the model still exists. So
it sure does. It sure does.
Oh,
We have Sanctifiers up next, right? With a 57% win rate. Also, another good nerf. Good job, Games Workshop. You nerfed 2 of the top teams, not all of them. We will have to come out with another full Meta Watch episode so you guys can see all the top teams. I think there's like 6 teams above the 55% win rate. 3 of them escaped not being noticed by Games Workshop. Warpcoven have a 55% win rate, also a nerf, but I don't think it's going to harm them too bad. What do you guys think about theirs?
I don't think it's going to hurt them at all.
Yeah. Chaos Cult, also a very slight nerf at a 52% win rate. I'm not really sure. I mean, they're competitive. They're a competitive team. I don't necessarily know if they needed a nerf.
It's not going to knock them out of the competitive scene, I don't believe.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to some more of the elite teams. The elite teams got an overall nerf from like their guard rules got canceled pretty hard. So that's going to hurt their counteraction stuff, like as an overall 3 APL team nerf. So not only did they get nerfs in their actual data slits, but then they got a core rule nerf as well. So they're going to be a little rough for wear. Yeah. Phobos doing very well, extremely well. They have out of all the tournaments they've been in, they have like a 20% placement rating. Or no, I think this is how many times they've placed. Let me remove this placing percentage. It's just placing.
Nice.
This is how many times they've placed, right? And I think that's an overall thing. It's going to be off-centered. I'm sorry. They've placed at 19 events. Only second close to, what is this team? Hierotek Circle. Hierotek Circle is the only team that's placed at more events than they have. So they don't place at tons of events in the US. I think they did at Adepticon. But they're very much a European and Spanish team, I found, at a lot of events.
There's a couple people on the East Coast that are running them pretty hard.
Yeah, they haven't really picked up steam on the West Coast at all, We have Brood Brothers up next with a 50% win rate, also a nerf. Very well, Giacomo. How mad is Melty?
We talked about it, and he doesn't seem to be mad. I think he's accepting.
That means it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. Like it's, we'll get there. We'll talk about it. It's not enough. It's
needed, but yeah,
it's needed.
Cheese, another cheese thing that's been nerfed out of the game. Nemesis Claw got destroyed. I didn't get a chance to talk to Jimmy Kelly. He's been maining this team for quite some time.
This team got taken out behind the
port. Yeah, straight up they decided to
shot in the back of the head.
Come out of the midnight clad and get shot.
Yeah, they now it's better just play Raveners, This team is like, "Oh, I'm obscured." Raveners can just, duck
disappear.
Underneath. They can just disappear. They don't even need to be there. They can't even get shot, Goremongers got nerfed. It's a relatively large nerf, but it's a cheese nerf again. I don't know if it's going to knock them out. It very well could. They have a 50% win rate.
It's more of aligning them with the rest of the kill team teams, in my opinion.
Agreed. There was a lot of Legionary hate today. I was watching some discussions on Discord. And a lot of main Legionary players were really upset.
Yeah, with
Now-
the change.
Now, Janis, you main Legionary for all of the beginning of this edition. Do you think that that they're joining the Nemesis Claw behind the shed?
I think they just got beat up really badly.
Okay,
I
so
don't
they're
think they've
still
been
in front of the shed. They just got beat up.
Yeah, they got beat up and their wallet taken.
Yeah,
So
Nemesis Claw's dead. No, they're not. But we're saying it's dead.
Yeah. Pathfinders got a buff and they got a nerf, so it's kind of like a side grade shift, which is interesting. Novitiates got caught in the crossfire from Sanctifiers, so they kind of got a slight nerf.
Again, it's an alignment thing.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone's mad about Novitiates. Speaking of Novitiates, they're not a fun team to play against. If you guys want to watch a tier list video on what me and Giacomo think are a lot of fun, what teams are fun to play, you should check out this video. Hopefully I remember to put it somewhere on the screen, but we do have a tier list with our favorite fun teams. Surprisingly, Novitiates aren't very fun to play against or fun to play, in our opinion.
I've not enjoyed any game that I've played against the Novitiates.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Not last edition, not this edition, They're just like the ultimate, not the ultimate, but they're one of the ultimate nope teams. Hunter Clade got a huge buff, and they got a buff at a 45% win rate. I could definitely see why Games Workshop would want to buff Hunter Clade. They've been bad for quite some time. Maybe whenever this was written, they were doing really poorly. They do not have a ton of games played in general, right?
It's because there's 3 players.
Yeah, they have 31 total games played. Over here we can
3
see.
players.
Yeah, 6 unique players, close.
Okay, 6.
Wow, still 6. That's 5 games each. That's
31 games, 0 top placings, and obviously 0 tournament wins this entire data slate. So they are struggling. I'm worried that this buff is going to make my brain melt and people actually bring them to events again. Because to be honest, they're so complicated. I just want them to go away.
Why aren't you playing Battle Clade?
That's what GW hopes you'll say.
I will say Battle Clade is way more complicated than anyone kind of gives credit for. I feel bad. There's a lot of Battle Clade players at a recent tournament, and they all had to do a lot of mirror matches, and that mirror match just sounds awful. There's a big stuff.
My son Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Say hi.
What up?
So then we have Plague Marines. They got a pretty decent nerf. It's a weird direction, in my opinion, but we'll kind of go over that when it gets there.
I'm a little salty about this one.
Yeah, you started maining Plague Marines.
Yeah.
AOD. Everyone here is upset.
Yeah.
If you're not upset and you're a fan or you're a stan that these guys are getting crushed, we got some words for you. We got some words for you.
My flesh terrors are unhappy.
Yeah. Like a very long discussion our longest part is probably going to be spent on the Angels of Death changes. Next up, Scout Squad got a buff. I don't remember what the buff is. I will remind myself. And then didn't care. Navy Breachers got a large buff. Oh, look at these guys behind Giacomo. These guys you just painted, right? Hold on.
Yeah, so Navy Breachers.
Hell,
let me pull up a big one. There you go. You have a big photo. I'm going to disappear for a second.
Nice. Very pretty team, Giacomo. Make sure you take a nice picture of it so that we can put it in our tier list videos, please.
I will. I have them right here, so you can pick one and we'll Photoshop it out.
Nice.
Yes.
So, Navy Breachers, Giacomo just painted. I'm sure that this person, whoever you painted these
that
for
client's
your
going to like it.
He's going to be super happy.
Those are really nice, Giacomo.
Thank you.
So, or Janis.
Yes.
Do you think that an 8 wounds really changes the math? To me, it's never really changed the math because it seems like this edition, a lot more teams, unless if you're playing like guardsmen, kind of regularly do 8 damage. So is it really that big of a buff to just give +1 wound? The Endurant is quite a large buff
It
with 11.
puts them back to where they were last edition with their with stims, because everyone took stims last edition, so everybody had +1 wound. Now,
Yeah, I think
as you'll see with what they've done to Legionary, they won't be able to be one shot anymore by someone running up and hitting them.
that's fair. Unless if they have unless they're running
No, they maxed them all at 7 damage now.
Legionary at 7 now?
Yep.
For the big axe.
For the Corn Ploy. So Power Fists and Axe and Demon Weapon.
So
7.
So similar to the
Marine.
AOD captain.
Yeah.
You know, with his Power Fist, he's not allowed to get the +1 either. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had to bring that in line.
Well,
yeah.
I have comments about that when we get there.
Yeah.
Now, Breachers, they have only had 22 games, 4 unique players. Obviously, a very unpopular team from what has happened at this edition. The changes to them have not gone over well. There's quite a few teams that did not transition from the last edition to this edition very well, that are very unpopular. Navy Breachers is one of them. And you can also see that their average score for these 4 unfortunate players has been 7.92 points per game with a 16% win rate.
Oof.
So I think that's like 2 of those 22 games were wins.
Okay. 2 of those 22.
Yeah,
what the hell? 10% win rate.
Here's my proposal to get the buff to boost those numbers. We get a certain group of players, let's say Jimmy Kelly, Orion Wolfong, people like that, and make them play Breachers.
So Jimmy told me something very interesting, and I'm wondering if he's going to do it. So if anyone doesn't know who Jimmy Kelly is, Jimmy Kelly won the ITC last year. He was the #1 ranked kill team player in all of kill team. So he brought to his second Worlds. He's going to hate that I'm going to bring this up. He brought Imperial Navy Breachers because we all thought they were going to be pretty decent into the meta, and turns out they were really bad. And then he kind of he did well on day 1, and then he did really bad day 2. And the way
day 2,
and then the way that the tournament just kind of worked out, and the weird pairing metrics, it didn't matter if he had 2 wins. He lost every game day 2, so that put him at last place. And that was not this year. This was the year before. So then the next year he came back, brought Legionaries, did really well. I think he got 4th at this past Worlds.
Yes, he got 4th at Worlds.
But somebody brought Imperial Navy Breachers, and they were also last place at Worlds 2 years in a row. The question is, does Jimmy bring them back and try to run it back for a 3rd year to make them last place?
Salty run back.
I think he should.
That's the challenge to him. We're saying it now.
Go and lose all your games. It's quite funny. But in all seriousness, it is quite a large buff, possibly the biggest buff. I think Hunter Clade and Imperial Navy Breachers both got really large buffs.
Yes.
Going over a couple more metrics here, we have Sanctifiers, Hierotek, and Phobos Strike Team, all with 7 tournament wins. They've won 7 complete tournaments, first place this edition, or this balanced data slate. I think Sanctifiers came out right before the last data slate, right before. So they have had a full data slate, I believe, maybe right after. I can't remember.
Came out right after the last data slate.
Yeah, something like that. So they've had just a little bit of time. They've probably had just about the same. I can't remember off the top of my head. Then we have 1, 2, 3 of these teams have also won 4 tournaments, right? So we have Warpcoven, Goremongers, and Legionary all have won 4 tournaments as well. And then the teams that have won nothing is Imperial Navy Breachers, Hunter Clade, Novitiates, and Chaos Cult. And some of them got buffs, some of them got nerfs. So
Surprised Chaos Cult hasn't.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Chaos Cult has zero
tournament wins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Yeah. AOD has only 2, but they have 602 games played. They are the 3rd most played faction. I think we have Plague Marines is the number 1 most played, 2nd most played faction, and the very first most played faction is Nemesis Claw. I have talked to a lot of Kill Team content creators today, quite a few. And I have seen the overall reaction from the community. I would say that this is probably the least well-received balanced data slate so far by a lot. Would you guys agree?
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that Games Workshop would be naive to not think that this was going to be taken poorly by the community.
Yeah. Before we dive into the rules, I would like to say a few parting words to our dead elites. This edition, I really wanted Hordes to be good because I was a Vet Guard player. I liked Hordes. I still like Hordes. I think they're very fun.
I'm not a Horde player.
Yeah, but elites are a ton of fun, and they are probably the most fun in this version of the game. They function really well. The way that the 3 objectives are, they kind of tune this whole edition to be more kind to elites, right? Yes. They are by far the most important factions in the game outside of Goremongers. I think that's probably the 4th most played faction, at least on the screen. Also kind of elite type team. And it just seems really weird to nerf sub 50% win rate teams that people enjoy. It doesn't make sense. I'm sure Games Workshop has their reasons. I'm sure they, things, who knows when these things are written, who knows when these things are done, right?
Right.
I'm sure, dude, I couldn't even imagine writing an app and having these things go to an app, right? So I think as the community, we have to give the developers some grace. I don't think that it's necessary that we can really put, of course the rules are what they are, right? But right. I do think that we need, as a community, to still hopefully grow from this, and hopefully Games Workshop can see that this really poor reaction, and they can at least come back to some of these teams and undo or rebuff some of these teams, because I do not foresee Angels of Death ever coming back from this. Yeah, even if they brought all the chapter tactics in, I think Nemesis Claw is probably dead in the water. There's a lot of stuff, and then
I think that you're going to see almost all of the elite teams. I'm not counting Warpcoven as an elite team because they have 9 models. They're not an elite team.
They can have up to 11 models.
Yeah, but people typically run them with 9. Nobody runs them as elite.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm keeping them out. But I think any of the elite teams, with the exception of maybe Phobos, are going to be sub 45%.
Absolutely. And I tried to stay off of Warhammer community. I didn't really want to read what Games Workshop had to say. I just really wanted this to be my pure opinion, of these teams, I definitely went on a long walk, a 7-mile walk, because I was very upset about AOD, yeah, but hopefully as a community, we can, the game's not dead, right? But it is unfortunate that they took the fun out of the teams. Dueler is fun. Like, it was fun. Like, it was the one thing that you had against melee teams. Now you have nothing, you know? It's crazy to me to think that Dueler was such a problem, and they could look at Hierotek Circle and say, like, these guys are on the same level as no Dueler AOD. That's crazy. Like, there's such a vast gap, or Sanctifiers. There's such a vast gap between the two power levels of those two teams. Competitively, maybe not at your local metas, right? Maybe there's that one AOD player that just runs amok and kills everything. I understand that that's also a pain point in the community, right? But
the big problem with, but we should just save it until we talk about AOD.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
I have a great Steven Seagal thing to talk about when we go to AOD. So who do we want to talk about first?
If we go in the order
Core
that
rulebook?
is, we can do core rulebook. Yeah, let's do start with the core rulebook. That's a good one.
That's an easy one.
Let's move this, make this a tad bit smaller. Okay, so core rulebook is there's quite a big change here. This was brought up in my Discord back in March or something like that, about like something about like, hey, do you think that when does the retain step happen? Right. And it's kind of always been on my mind. Like, when does the retain step happen? Right. And it looks like we finally got some sort of an answer. Right. It wasn't floating around many Discords. I think it was mostly just in mine for a little while. And then it kind of got resurrected at the All Valley Team Tournament. But yeah, who wants to go over the the weapon rules for severe and when retains actually happen? Because we should have a sequencing like little graph, but you know, maybe the artists are working on a graph of the timing period, timing charts.
Yeah, when does that happen?
So the retain step, right? When you auto retain a dice, you cannot modify it with punishing or rending. The only thing that you're allowed to do now, right, is I believe it is what, severe? Severe is the only thing, because it literally says like you can modify it.
If you don't retain any crits, you can bump it to. You can bump one of those to a regular hit to a crit.
Yeah, and it's specifically because it says you can modify a retained dice.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, as a TO, when I'm talking about rules, it's very nuanced. People can read a rule and not read it the same way I do. There's like weird keywords that you kind of have to just know, like this is referring to this, you know. It's a little hard. Yeah, and also what it doesn't say devastating and piercing quit. What is this one about severe? Change the second sentence to read the devastating and piercing crit rules still take effect. Yeah. So I think that I can probably, gosh, I remember we had this whole thing pulled up. Oh, it's in the Kill Team Light rules. I'll pull that up in a second. So we have the Kill Zone Gallowdark close quarters on guard, right?
Easy.
Now the thing is that this is only Kill Zone Gallowdark. This was being talked about in my Discord today about like, hey, does this affect Phobos on guard in close quarters on Volcus? And it doesn't, because it literally says Kill Zone Gallowdark.
Now I have to counter here. So I was looking into this. When you read the Phobos's ability, it says you can use guard as if you were using it on Gallowdark. So I think it's still referencing the Gallowdark rule. So I think it still would affect it so that you can't go afterwards.
I would disagree personally, because it is only in the kill. If you're not in Kill Zone Gallowdark, you know, like, I mean,
right. That's where I was getting a little, I wasn't 100% sure. It's like, I could see, because it's not strictly in the Gallowdark. It just uses that as the reference. So if it is just referencing it, then I think you can totally, do everything else you want afterwards.
What do you think, Janis? Because there's a couple teams that can go on guard and open.
Let's see here. I mean, as written, it only says Gallowdark.
Yeah, but we've also seen as a... Yeah, we've also...
I would say if you can go on guard outside of like in a regular map, in an open map, yeah, you can't be able to counteract then.
Yeah, I think that that's probably the way it's meant to be. Something that we have to remember as a community. You know, I was talking about this quite a lot, especially to just like my friends and just people. This edition is so much more rules as intended,
Yes.
right? Because some of the rules written in this edition weren't necessarily written with every single interaction in mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we're finding throughout all of these editions, it's way more thematic. It's way more rules as intended. And then I just have people that sit there and just continually argue in certain discords. And I just don't have time. Like, who has time to argue about internet rules? Go ahead.
This is very clear of what the intention of the rule is. That it's like, if you're on guard, you can't counteract.
Right.
100%, there's going to be that guy at a tournament that's going to say, my death mark, we're not in Gallowdark, therefore I should be able to counteract as well as do my on guard. You know you're going to have that.
Yeah. I think it's...
That person needs to be...
spanked.
Yes. Well, they might enjoy that.
Yeah. But that's all right. We can let him enjoy it. Yeah.
Nobody enjoys a throat punch.
Yeah. So I think that you're definitely going to have the people who now take this and argue like, hey, it's only in Killzone Gallowdark. Just like I was like, when I first read it, I was like, oh, well, wait a second.
No,
but I think it's very much like, yo, this is guard, right?
Yeah, you're looking for a loophole if you're doing that. Don't be that guy.
Mm-hmm. And then we have another thing with rules commentary here. While shooting, fighting, retaliating, if I retain a dice as a normal success, example, accurate 1, can I use another rule to retain it again as a critical success via rending? They say no, right? This was one of the things in our Discord that we had a really hot debate on, because to me, retain has always, well, it didn't always, after I spoke to the person who brought up this rule, it was very much like, I think retain happens and like, it's done. And I'm like, you're right. You know, like, I think you're right. But not everyone believes that, because retain is written weirdly. So it also references back to normal successes, yada, yada, yada. I'm sure that you guys do not care. But essentially this has been ruled as no, a dice can only be retained once. So you can't change it and retain it as something else. Right.
Now, this does kind of give a shadow nerf to teams like the Salvagers.
Salvagers are getting really...
because you can't use your accurate and then use those to switch those to your grudge token crits. You have to actually roll those dice. Which
I think is healthy. You know, it's very much healthy.
I think it is too.
Yeah. Now Games Workshop can focus on buffing Hearthkin Salvagers healthily, rather than letting them depend on a cheese strat of like, hey, I don't need to roll dice, and guess what? They're also crits. Like, that does not feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and the Hearthkin Salvagers, like, I had somebody call me today and was like, oh yeah, it just feels bad. I'm like, I don't care. You know, like, it feels bad to everyone else except for you.
Yeah.
The ancestors wouldn't want it this way.
No, they wouldn't.
Having been on the receiving end of their sniper in the third floor vantage with accurate 2 and a pile of grudge tokens, roll those dice.
Yeah. If you want that severe, roll the dice. And here's the thing, like, you could auto retain 2, you could roll 2 dice, and you're more than likely going to hit one of those dice, and then that one can become a crit. You know, accurate is super, super powerful.
It is. It's very powerful.
The fact that you don't have to roll dice, think about it like this. Another broken rule in Kill Team is obscuring. It's a very broken rule, right? everyone that I watch in every single game, the thousands of games I've watched this edition, they would all prefer to be obscured rather than be in cover, right? And that's specifically because you auto drop a dice, which means you auto succeed,
and can't retain crits.
And can't retain crits, right? So like now you get no crits, and then you essentially auto get a +1 die to your save that you auto pass, right? And then you still get to roll your full defense dice. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
You know who doesn't care about obscuring? Rekkas.
Phobos?
Oh, Phobos. But yeah, I guess Rekkas too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I'm not even referring to rules that take away obscuring. Just Rekkas.
Just the number of dice.
Yeah. Tons of dice.
If you have 5 or more attack dice, you have a better chance at obscuring.
Yes. Yeah. With most weapons being only 4 attacks,
it's not a good look.
That drop 1 die, drop 1 success, and not being able to retain any crits. Yeah, it's
So I have another. So I'm going to pull up the light rules here so we can read the severe change in its wholehearted entirety, rather than just a quick thing of, this is the sentence. It's like, okay, what's the rest of the rule? Who knows? But there's also a couple other things. I would like to get Janis's thoughts on this, and Giacomo's. I have not asked either one of them. This was brought up to me by Sean from the Pacific Northwest. He just won Tacoma. Congratulations.
Congrats.
But he brought something up, and I thought it was a worthwhile question, right? I kind of have a soft rule on it, but I want to see if my rule varies from Giacomo's and Janis's, then, I think that it's a worthwhile question for Games Workshop to look at. And if we all think it's the same, then you should think it's the same too. And tell your friends about it. So we have severe here.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't retain any critical successes, you can change one of your normal successes to a critical hit. The devastating and piercing crit weapon rules still take effect, but punishing and rending don't. So the question is with severe, the devastating and piercing crit weapon rules still take effect, but punishing and rending don't, right? So again, punishing and rending is modifying a dice. Mm-hmm. Devastating and piercing crit weapons are not modifying dice.
That's coming off the critical.
What about severe stun?
Severe stun would proc off of that crit.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
Because that's what I think. But it was a good question because it's not mentioned in severe, right?
The stun or shock, if the weapon would have either of those rules, that would proc off of that severe crit.
Right, because you need to have damage from one of those attacks before it happens anyway. So,
I mean, I thought it was a good question.
Yeah,
it
is a good question.
It is a very good question, but it's as long as that crit goes through from severe, that would be applicable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think Sean said somebody from Plague Marines has that. Like the Plague Caster has severe shock or something like that. But yeah, I thought that was a good question.
Shooting weapon? I don't know. The only thing I know that
I think is the cast, the power. I think
that's what he said. I didn't look into it. Could be just shooting attack. Or melee attack. I could also be misremembering. But
I know the flail guy has severe shock.
Maybe he was referring to that.
Yeah, could be.
But I don't think any of their missile weapon magic powers have it.
That's fair. So next up, we have Angels of Death. We'll probably go in alphabetical order. This is going to be the thing that we talk about the longest on. Okay. Now, I want to say, I'm going to start this off, everyone. Okay? I'm going to start this off. AOD, I don't know why they have to choose their chapter tactics before tournament. If we didn't have that, we could ask Best Coast Pairings to drop lists entirely, and we don't have to have TOs get mixed up with why people are why do I need to put a list in? I don't know. No, you don't. Except if you're AOD. Firstly, it would get rid of that. Secondly, I've seen Steven Seagal in Under Siege, right? I've also seen Under Siege 2, right? And he's on a train. He's not on a boat, right? And that guy still messed everyone up on the train and ran amok, right? And he was a Navy SEAL. He wasn't even near water, right? So I think that Marines, right, Navy SEALs, special guys can change up their tactics in between games, you know? Like, why does it have to be lore accurate for Space Marines to have chapter tactics that have to be done throughout the whole thing? But striking Scorpions can't get a 3-up save. Who knows? You know, like what? So we just say some things are lore and some things aren't lore. Okay, I'm done ranting. Okay. So we have AOD here. They got what, 3 nerfs and a buff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 nerfs and a buff. And I'm sure if you play Kill Team, you've seen this. If you're not familiar or you're brand new, we will go over it. Chapter Tactics Dueler has been nerfed into the ground. So rest in peace. This is the thing that absolutely, in my opinion, kills the team entirely.
In competitive play.
Competitive play.
Yes.
Like, sure, you might be able to find a shooty way to play the team. Or something like that, but they kind of just ruined an entire thing. And this was the only thing holding Goremongers back, you know, like Goremongers and Felgor and these melee teams. Sometimes they'd run into an AOD player and it's like, Raveners. Oh, Raveners too, you know, and they're like, oh, well, maybe I should shoot the Marine instead of charge him because he has dueler, you know, it makes you think, right? But now their natural predator is in the water floating, right? The Raveners took him out, you know, like,
dang, they came in and were like, we're going to write the rules.
Yeah. He's in the back of the shed along with Nemesis Claw.
They're getting to play with the rabbits, guys.
Yeah. I think this is my opinion on this. I don't like this change to dueler for one, because you're going to see a lot of other teams that have been held back by this suddenly become very oppressive in my mind. Now, that said, the problem is no other chapter tactic stacked up to dueler.
None.
I agree.
If there were if the chapter tactics were better, this one was by far and away so much better than all the others.
I think mobile is good.
It is.
I think aggressive is good when paired with old dueler, right? Yeah. But here's the problem. Here's my ultimate problem. We look at the chapter tactics. Hold on. Let me swap to their chapter tactics here. Angels of Death. So we look at their chapter tactics and there's like a major problem that I don't know if people were thinking about, right? So we have aggressive. This operative's melee weapons have the rending special rule. Cool. Dueler. This is the new change, right? There's no more double bullet points. People don't have to argue about, hey, can you get both or can you only get one? By the way, the answer was 1. That's the reason why this nerf happened in the first place, because everyone was arguing that you get both. And guess what? You only got 1. This is what we get, right? Whenever this operative is fighting or retaliating, each of your normal successes can block 1 unresolved critical success unless the enemy's operative's weapon has the brutal special rule. So you get 1 bullet point. That's it. Cool. And we also got it also got rid of the thing that you can only do it once per fight. Now, if you roll a bunch of criticals or a bunch of normals, you can just block all the criticals. But here's the thing, like mathematically, if an operative charged you, unless if they only got 3 attacks, it didn't change. You would always strike twice. Mm-hmm. You would always strike twice, right? And then your final one, you'd parry him out, right? But like now that option doesn't even exist. This team is just objectively worse into all 4 attack, low model count, like Vet Guard, with their hand axes are just going to start carving these guys apart. They're not scared of Marines anymore. No one is scared of Marines melee anymore because Dueler doesn't exist. When Dueler existed, we had to think about it. There was a tactical decision on when to charge an assault intercessor and fight them. Now it doesn't matter. You know, like Dueler is like, what does this team have now? Right? This team has nothing. And this is all it had before. This was their this was the rule that made them good. Go ahead,
The
Janis.
heavy intercessor has a 5 move now.
Yay!
I'm
That's
sure
gonna save the day.
if I had to guess, I think that they made that rules change specifically because the brand new team just got announced. They have what is two heavy intercessors? G, how many?
3. You have 3 total.
Did you take 3 in the team?
You can take 3 in the team.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how that works, but they showed 3, and it's assumed you probably could take 3.
That's cool. So I'm assuming that they also have a 5-inch move. You know, who knows if that's true or not, right? It would make sense.
People have been clamoring for the 5-inch move on these guys.
For
heavies since 2 editions ago.
Because I hated it too. Like 4 inches sucks.
Dude, you couldn't climb things.
No,
it was ridiculous. So I'm glad we finally got that changed. That's nice. So now we have Resolute, which was good, but Resolute's a great thing to pivot into when you need it. It's not necessarily something you always want to have on your models.
Right.
You can ignore any changes to this operative's APL stat. If you're playing Brood Brothers, if a lot of your models are injured, you spend 1 command point, you get Resolute. Cool beans. But it's not something that you would want every single game. Then we have Stealthy, right? But guess what? I just talked about Stealthy earlier, right? Or Cover earlier. All Marines would rather have obscuring rather than have this. Who cares? Just make yourself obscured and you're better off, right? Stealthy's only good if you're bringing the sniper guy and you want him to become invincible. If you want him to be Superman,
right?
Mobile's great, absolutely. It's
2 bullet points.
Yep, 2 bullet points, but they both work. Hardy is also good. Right. And it doesn't have anything else. But now we get into Sharpshooter and we get into Siege Specialist. We'll go over Siege Specialist first. Again, we have another rule that deals with cover. And guess what? These operatives no one cares if you're in cover because you're always obscured. People are always making themselves obscured, right?
The only time that Siege Specialist is good is if you're going against a team that has double retains on cover saves, like Crew.
True.
That's the only time.
Yeah. So it's very niche. So if this would be another one that you'd want to spend 1 command point on and swap in the middle of a game.
Yep.
And I guess if you could allow AOD, going back to that point, if we could allow AOD to choose anything, they would just annihilate Kroot by just taking that for 0 CP.
And Dueler. Because, well, no, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Like Dueler was so good. Even if you play a shooty team, they charge you. Guess what? I can double parry you. And, I still have 3-4 damage. It's still pretty strong. Like, Dueler was never a bad choice.
Yeah. Sharpshooter's pretty good, right? If your bolt weapon could get the severe rule, right? Not bad.
Every time that I've taken Sharpshooter, though, I always roll my crit.
Right, so it's like, cool, I guess. Because this team has a lot of rerolls, which we'll get into our next part in a second.
If I had to guess, it's going to be the 3 top things that this team will be taking in the future would probably be Mobile, Hardy, and Sharpshooter between all of those, right? I think Hardy's you never drop. Mobile, you probably don't need. So you could probably do Hardy, Sharpshooter, and then spend a command point if you have a bunch of dudes in close combat, let them fall back for 1, drop Hardy for a round, and then shoot people, cool beans. So, I
think
go ahead,
this
Janis.
team's going to be below 35% win rate.
Agreed. They're cooked. And it's rather unfortunate,
yes. And the last few changes are just on sergeants. Now, someone mentioned that this is kind of to bring them in line with other sergeants that can do once per battle things. This
Phobos,
one was
Phobos and stuff.
Yeah,
can only
I think
two.
Phobos is the one. And this is kind of okay. Like, I'm not totally upset with it. Like, I liked that if you were, depending on which sergeant you were, you always got the tactical for free, or you could take the Devastator or Assault. And I like that it was free, but you probably don't need it every time. It's not killing you, but it was nice having a few extra command points. That's a very forgiving rule for like new players.
It's crazy is I was talking to Jimmy about how to play AOD like more competitively to go to Nova and try to at least win half my games, right? And he said you never take the captain.
Yeah,
you don't really need to.
But I think you take the captain now, and that shows you where the team's at.
I wish the captain helped friends more, because the sergeants totally help everybody.
He is a lone wolf, He doesn't care. He's the Guy Gardner.
I think you're going to be seeing. Yeah, he is. He's the fighting guy.
Yeah.
No, but I think you're going to see nobody taking the sergeant anymore.
Yeah, but the other problem is like the captain now, you almost have to take him because he has a Justice Scratch for one combat, and that kind of gives you Dueler for one combat.
Yeah.
And then he just dies, and he has a pistol that he can't shoot twice. I don't know. The team is just in a really bad place.
But he's a 3+ power fist.
Yeah, 3+ power fist. 5/7 damage. Can't go to 8 though.
Yeah, so you got to pick your target and send him like a nuke and have him hopefully not die.
Honestly, it's exactly what I do when I use the captain.
Now the only thing that I do have to say about the sergeant changes, I've never been at a loss for CP with this team when I've been playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like not being at a loss, especially if you don't use purity seals very much.
Yeah,
might be nice to give them a buff. Like here's a nice buff. If they take crack grenades, like they can throw them on 3+. Like that could be a nice little buff because, no one takes crack grenades with Space Marines because hitting on 4s is innately like worse, and you see like a lot of missing a lot of the times with the crack grenades. That could be a little buff. Maybe they can start getting other little things here and there, maybe they're all little grenade specialist dudes or something, so I don't know. I don't know how to fix them. They right now they're just dead. That I will not touch the team to play them. Unfortunately, my beautiful lieutenants of death over here are going to sit on the shelf until we get some changes. Maybe I'll just play them as Death Watch.
There you go.
Yeah, just use the shield lieutenant from what is that? The Indominus box. Remember him? Use him as the shield guy. You could do a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I'm so pumped for them, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. We haven't even done a video on our excitement for them yet. I'm very, very pumped about it. Let's see here. We have next up. Are we done talking about AOD? Do we want to?
Yeah, we can put them out behind the woodshed with a bullet in the back of their head.
But if you still go to a tournament and you take them, you'll probably still do okay at the low end tables, and that you'll still be okay. But you're not going to see yourself like,
I think they're a 1-4 team now. You go to a 1-3 team now. They're not a 2-2 team now. If you go to an event, you're going to win one game.
Yeah. Maybe you get lucky.
You might luck into 2. But
yeah,
you're
maybe
you're never going to approach the top third of the tournament.
There was a guy at a recent event that did really well, and he was playing a lot of shooting Marines. I think if you're playing into GW Into the Dark, the current map pack for GW, shooting Marines are still going to be pretty decent, right? Like you always played shooting Marines into Plague Marines anyways, because you're terrified of getting the -1 dice.
Yeah, you don't want to get into the but that's something you don't have to worry about anymore. Oh,
exactly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But next up, we're going to go alphabetical, apparently. We're going to talk about a Brood Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Giacomo's super pumped about these changes.
Mostly just because one of the homies plays them, and I will always take the challenge to play whatever team you want to play against, regardless of how hard they are. But this is one of those teams that has the what a value! Like you get such good abilities, and it's just like, okay, here's my uphill battle.
This was a needed change because you're going to see other operatives coming onto the table now, I think.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the big ones.
So anyway, let's get into it.
Yes,
absolutely.
Insidious, you can't play it in the first turning point.
What does Insidious do? I'm going to pull them up right now.
That is the ploy that they have that they can traverse, do the 2-inch traverse for free without.
You do the little dash thing.
Yeah, they don't need to do it for free. It probably just helps them with some kind of alpha strike. I'm assuming that's the reason why they must have nerfed the team. I think
the
Insidious,
Melta Bomb or Melta Guy and Melta Gunner and the bomb guy would run forward.
Yep. Just because, I mean, you want them closer, and this is just a way to get it faster. It's just one of those, like, anyone who could do that turn one is like, whoa, and you didn't take the scouting step to do it. Like, okay, this is kind of nuts.
Yeah, use this firefight ploy after an activation. Before the next activation, you can perform a free dash action with one homie operative, as long as it's not a valid target for enemy operative. So it has to be on conceal or invisible.
Yeah.
When it starts and ends that action, you cannot use this ploy during the first turning point. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really a way to put pressure and stage very well for your first turning, for your second turning point.
Got it. And then the Icon Ward, that is just I think like an overall nerf.
Yeah, you have to see the.
You have to see them to
now.
Yeah, no more can I be behind this, and
yeah, I can't be hanging them under a
advantage
in a stronghold in the corner.
Vantage.
This is a much needed nerf. There are teams that have this ability. Did Sanctifiers get this as well? Because they also have the same kind of guy. I'll talk. We'll see. We'll see. But they have like essentially there's a guy with a banner, right? And then he like resurrects a dude that dies within 6, or they're allowed to do like one extra action or some shit. So is that that's this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's essentially Vetguard get this, but it costs Vetguard a CP, and you don't have to be not Vetguard, Deathcore. Yeah, but this is just like, oh, you got to do it for free. Cool. The Magus operative. This is the big nerf for them. One. Giacomo, why don't you tell us about it?
So before, you used to just get every ability. Now it's a strategic gambit, and you got to pick one per turn. Mm-hmm. So you either can have ignore piercing, you can have ignore their stats from being injured, and you can ignore APL stats. So one of those three options has to be chosen a turn. Now, here's my opinion on it. It's a good change, but not every turn did you need these abilities. So you could just be like, well, I know I'm not going to get pierced probably that first turn, so I'm going to just make sure I don't lose APL or something for the first few turns you need it, you know? Mm-hmm. And some teams don't have piercing. Like you might just be playing against someone who has like nothing. Like I don't have to worry about piercing at all.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Inquisition can just say nope to this Magus once per game? Another secret buff to the Inquisition? Wow. We'll talk about the Inquisition. The Inquisition also got a buff this time, but it wasn't a direct buff. You know.
So
now you
just to clarify some things. When I was speaking, I got pervasive confused with
Insidious.
with Insidious. Mm-hmm. So I combined the two rather than
it's okay. None of us played this evil team anyways, you know. Hey, they're all Xenos filth to us.
I only played the true Wormblade, so yeah, because Kellermorph for life.
You know, and I hope this kind of gives Brood Brother like another chance maybe to get people to play it, you know. Who knows?
What do you mean? What do you mean? They were busted. This is going to make them less popular.
Well, you're probably right. Well, then it'll get the people who want to play it, you know?
Well, I think you're going to see people actually playing this team and using the Primus.
Oh, yeah, that too.
The Primus he got a change too, right?
No, he didn't get a change, I don't think.
Yeah, he got
one. He got one.
Primus.
Yeah, it's just the once per battle choice of the relevant
deciding. Yeah.
What did he get? You can only do this, select each once per battle. So he got another. So was it a nerf?
Yeah, so he could add 1 to his dice result, and if you didn't have initiative at the previous turning point, you could reroll your dice. So now he has to pick 1. He can't choose it more than once per battle.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, and he's still not bad. Like, and I've talked with Melty before, and he's mentioned how the Primus isn't that bad actually.
No,
like you could take one and totally, like, using Conspire and stuff. Like it's a pretty good unit.
I like the Primus quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't like either one of those. If I was playing this team, I'd take
you want
nothing but
bug.
the daddy.
The Patriarch.
I am a power. This is why I like Superman so much. I like power aesthetic. I want the big bug. Give him to me. What
GW needs to do is be able to sell you the hero set, because no one takes the Sergeant in regular Brood.
Yeah.
Should not be taking the Sergeant and Brood Brothers. You should be taking one of the heroes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, that's an interesting thing. We have Brood Brothers, also a very powerful team, also not seen very much in America. This is also another European take. We've seen it a little bit in Florida. Janis, it's not very popular where you are either, correct?
There's only one guy up here that pivoted into playing them for one tournament. But that was it. I know John Reese has been playing around with them in the UK, but that's a European thing.
John Reese and the Spanish have been playing them quite a lot, right?
I expect to see them at Nova, or was expecting to see them at Nova.
You might still see them. Crossfire's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Why play Brood Brothers when you could just play their bigger and more beautiful half, which is Raveners? Why? Why? That's Dakotah's opinion. Embrace the bug. Embrace
5 models, guys. Easier to transport.
You're not wrong.
Less mental
rule
load.
of big. Yeah.
So next up we have Chaos Cult. Exciting. Exciting. So Chaos Cult is a relatively small, in our opinion. Maybe we'll reread it here. So it says Exaltation in Pain. Oh, that's weird. That's a weird ploy. Why name it that?
Because chaos.
Yeah, you're right. You can ignore any changes to the hit stat of friendly Chaos Cult operative weapons from being injured, including their weapons stats. So what is this saying, Janis?
This was what I think mostly for grenades, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because before you would be like, oh, it's fine. My grenades are get to ignore this. So
yeah, this was a grenade thing.
This is a grenade thing. So this only affects like grenades. Like what are we doing here? What is this? Explain it to us simpletons.
So, basically, it's your ignore injury ploy, but it is only effective on hit stat on the weapon on your weapons.
Got it. I'll pull up the actual
the
ploy here. Chaos Cult. I will say this over and over and over. I really wish Games Workshop would just put this thing in alphabetical order. It would make it a lot easier to find things, And then I know we got to change to barbed as well. So here's Exaltation of Pain. We have Exaltation in Pain. You can ignore any changes to the hit stat of friendly Chaos Cult operative weapons from being injured. Whenever an operative is shooting a friendly Chaos Cult operative that's wounded, you can re-roll one of your defense dice.
Yep. So if you had a grenade, it's that's not technically a Chaos Cult weapon. It's a card weapon. So then you could be like, "Well, I ignore that."
I understand. I understand it now. So they just removed grenades. This makes more sense to me.
Right, because a mutant and a torment just throwing grenades. Whoa!
I think they made it so
throw grenades anymore.
Yeah, that was last time.
That's right. That was last one. You're right. My bad.
And then we have barbed. We don't need to change the barbed. We'll just read barbed here. It's probably be more informative anyways.
This was a needed change because it was very abusive.
Janis, you were playing around with these.
Yeah,
What
and
what was
used
so
it.
abusive with barbed before?
So you would charge your torment in to a group of guys, and every hit you put through, you did a D3 hits to the people around you as well, or at least one person around you.
Ew.
For each hit.
Ew.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
It was gross. Now you can only do it once per fight.
Per fight or retaliating?
Yeah.
So it says enemy operatives cannot assist. Well, that's really nice.
Yeah, that remains.
Yeah, this the first time you would strike during the sequence, you also inflict 1 damage on each other enemy operative within 1 of this control range, or D3 damage
If you're a torment.
instead if this operative is a torment. Cool. That's a very cool thing. No wonder why Chaos Cult's pretty good.
No, I kind of anecdote on this. I was playing against Plague Marines and charged my guy in to 2 Plague Marines and got, because you have the accurate 2 ploy, so I get 2 freebies
From torments.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, roll my other 3 dice, and I got 4 hits, I think. So it's like, okay, hit you, do D3 to this guy. Hit you, do D3 to this guy. So I killed the one guy and took the other one down to 1 wound, and then did my fight twice ploy, and it's like, you're dead.
I love that. It's gross, but I love it.
The torment was pretty fucked up by the end of that. But I killed 2 Plague Marines.
Amazing.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about Goremongers. Goremongers have been running amok. They've been extremely popular in Southern California. Have they been quite popular on the East Coast as well?
Yes.
Yeah, they are the 4th most played team currently in Kill Team, so they are a very popular faction.
I played these at the Richmond Open, and I feel these nerfs are needed.
Yeah. How did you do at the Richmond Open?
I went out of contention. I think I lost 2 games. I think I went 2-2. But the one loss
was AOD one of your losses?
No, AOD was not one of my losses. It was Sanctifiers. Sanctifiers and Hierotek.
No, who would have thought?
Yeah.
So
when I went against who was it? Aquilons and what was my other match there? Aquilons and Kroot. It was a bloodbath.
Amazing.
The Goremongers got their gore tanks fully topped up the entire game.
So next up we have Goremongers. This is I don't need to pull up the PDF. These are very easy to do. Sanguivete Rejuvenation. The operative regains D3 plus 1 lost wounds. This is after each activation action that it has, right? So you can heal and while you're charging, and then you can like fight and then heal afterwards. It's a little ridiculous. But now it's nerfed from 2d3 plus 1 to d3 plus 1.
What was it?
So,
it was just 2d3 before.
Yeah, just
2d3.
But still, 2d3 is whoa.
Yeah,
you were getting like
whenever I was playing these guys at Richmond Open, I was regularly getting 5 to 6.
It's right back to full health.
Yeah, right back to full health after being shot. So
yeah,
or I take some chip damage, kill a guy, get my blood, and it's like, yeah, I'll just heal it back up now.
So what's crazy about this is it's not that big of a nerf. Sure, it stops your spike of hitting that 6, but the minimum you were doing was 2. The minimum that this has is still 2. The average that you're going to roll for this is 3, and the average for the last one was 4. So really, you're just losing 1 wound.
Now,
Goremongers are typically, on average, losing 1 wound per heal.
Where this comes in is the math for if you got shot up coming in and you're on your 2 wounds.
Going into 8, yeah.
Yeah, because you could bump up to 8, so that changes the break points for if you charge into combat with certain things.
Yeah. Yeah, this definitely is still hurting. And instead of possibly healing 8 wounds on average per turn, you are on average healing 6 per turn on average, by doing it twice. Next, we have up the leader. He's been brought in line with everyone else.
Yeah.
His apotheosis.
These nerfs are all just bringing them in line with everybody else.
That can do some ability. Yep.
Now he makes it so that only normal damage can be ignored. Not before it was normals and crits, and that got asked a lot at my last tournament. They're like, anything? I'm like, yes, anything.
You know what? Angels of Death did us one good thing. They're like, you know what? F this. They're going to come into line with us before we go down.
I don't think these changes really hurt Goremongers. What hurts Goremongers is Raveners are on the table now.
Yeah, I mean, Raveners already beat them.
Yeah, now they just beat them more.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, so next up, we have Hierotek Circle. We get to see how these guys were nerfed into oblivion, the number 1 win rate team in the game. How did Games Workshop address the problem? The Necrons who stop all kill ups. How did this team get affected? Right? This is going to be exciting, right, guys?
So
Yay.
The nerfs that they got were nerfs that were needed. Is it enough? Probably not.
No, it was not.
So now the Chronomancer,
in my opinion, it was not.
Technomancer, Despotek, and
AOD was pretty good into this team with Dueler. Pretty good.
Yeah.
AOD's dead now. So one of the Hierotek's natural predators is gone, right? Absolutely destroyed. So this team, I think, is going to probably be in the 56 to 60% win rates once again for another 3 months. Yippee. We have this errata. I want to see what this actually does in full. So let me pull up that one.
So yeah, as I was saying, the Chronomancer, Psychomancer, Technomancer, Despotek, all the ones that have the command ability, they cannot do it while counteracting now. Because before you would be able to do command on your action and potentially command on your counteract.
Oh, wow. So you could do 2 commands. You're right.
So now you can only do it during your action.
Just your action?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
That's a good nerf.
Yeah. Oops, that's the wrong one. They also stopped they've clarified and nerfed Time Splinter because it was being abused at events.
The clarification was needed more than the nerf, I think, on this one.
Agreed. A lot of players were arguing that you could pick up a model 9 inches away and then redeploy it 9 inches away.
Yes.
With comms. And because it was being abused and being in my opinion, read in bad faith terms. Obviously Games Workshop was like, yo, this is a problem. This is an amazing nerf. I am very happy that not only we finally get sort of a clarification.
We have it in writing now, which is the thing.
People say it's gossip. I can do a little victory lap, And then also both were changed to 8. So the maximum that you're going to be able to pick up a model from you is 8 inches away. And then you can redeploy them 5 inches away, which is awesome. Also, the enemy operative during the first turning. So you can't do it during an enemy's, the first turning point, or if the friendly operative has already performed this action during this turning point. Okay, let's pull that up. See exactly what they're saying. So basically
this is killing the Alpha Strike.
Yeah, somebody did that at a recent event, and it feels bad. He killed five models.
That's the bread and butter of playing Hierotek, to be honest.
Yeah. And it sucks. It sucks a lot to be a player that has to deal with. Did I lose you guys?
No, you're still.
I'm chilling.
Okay, there we go. We're back. So we have Time Splinter here, supports. Dude, to be honest, I thought they were going to get rid of just the support keyword. Like, I thought that was going to be the nerf, you know?
Yeah.
And fix it all. But, you know, that was not the case. Support, select one expended Hierotek operative, visible to within 5 of this operative, remove it from the kill zone, set it back up, and visible to and wholly visible to and within 5 inches horizontally of this operative in a location it can be placed. Note that the comms device from Universal Equipment only affects the first distance of this rule, because that's the only sentence that is referring to friendly operative.
Yeah.
That was literally the argument before. The second sentence does not refer to it. That's besides the point. We move on to the red point, which is a no. This operative cannot perform this action while within control range of enemy operatives.
That's always been there.
Yes, during the first turning point, or if a friendly operative has already performed this action during the turning point. This is huge because people were using this model to do Time Splinter, and then they're having their backup hero do the same thing, right? So they get 2 Alpha Strikes off.
Have the Apprentech throw another model up the board.
Yeah, and then they die, but they wouldn't die, but they die, but they wouldn't die. You know what I mean? It was crazy. It was cooked. It was absolutely cooked. I'm glad that the team has been finally reined in. Do you, Janis and Giacomo, think that this is going to lead to a significant decrease in their win rate, or will it be similar to Worlds? Worlds, they got heavily nerfed. No one knew how to play them. It took about 5 months for people to figure out the new way to play Hierotek, and then they became monsters again. So do you think that
I don't think it's going to remove the team from being top dogs in the show. I think what you're going to see is people that like that cheesy Alpha Strike play are going to stop playing the team, and people that enjoy the team and do good with the team without that are going to continue playing the team.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. I don't know if there's any more like super Alpha Strikes in the game, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the closest Alpha Strike is like still Sanctifiers.
Yeah, I think that's still the closest. But
which is a good thing, right? It's like it's important to get rid of Alpha Strikes.
It's not nearly as bad anymore now that with their current nerf.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So next up we have Hunter Clade.
The Clade.
There's an asterisk that changed to 7 of these operatives, and also they no longer hurt themselves when they do stuff.
Yay!
Hurrah! So
you can try to take the Arquebus now.
Yeah. So let's look up Hierotek or Hunter Clade. Are they still hunter gatherers? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't see what really like.
So I'm not going to be very
helpful on this one.
This team just kind of slides right off the smooth part of my brain.
So the stars are Skitarii Gunners,
right?
Skitarii Rangers,
okay.
The Sicarian Ruststalker Warriors, Sicarian Infiltrator Warriors. So you could take 7 Ruststalkers. Ruststalkers are pretty good, right?
Yeah, Ruststalkers are good.
You cannot select more than 7 of these operatives combined. Yeah, I would just take all Ruststalkers because that seems cool, and that's what used to be good in the old edition. But to be honest, no one plays these guys, and when they do, you just feel bad for them. Like, you literally watch somebody play and like hurt themselves, and you're like, that seems like a.
Now, I will say this: being able to take that many Ruststalkers, you're going to see these guys running rampant over teams because one of the things that kept Ruststalkers in check was, say it with me,
AOD, Dueler, yay, gone now. But you know what's going to keep them in check now? Raveners.
Yeah.
So was it the Warrior? Yeah, the Warrior. So we could take 7 of this Ruststalker Warrior. They have. What is this? Cord Claw, and Transonic Razor.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4/5 damage, balanced. Or Transonic Blades, 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4/6 rending. Cool. Whenever an operative is shooting this operative, if you can retain any cover saves, you can retain 1 additional. Well, that's annoying. And you can retain 1 cover save as a critical instead. This isn't cumulative or with improved cover saves from Vantage.
Siege specialists.
Yep, siege specialists. There you go. Time to bring accurate back. Hey, we're finding the AOD things to try.
Yeah, maybe AOD will stop them from being good just by shooting them.
Yep, the shooting meta becomes
they
real.
just go, obscured, and then it doesn't matter.
But like I said, this Hunter Clade just gets on the smooth part of the brain and just kind of slides right off like a greasy piece of bacon.
So next up we have Imperial Navy Breachers. Cool.
How about them Breachers?
Yeah, cool. We have their Void Jammer operatives. Geist School detonator weapon goes to lethal 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Their sergeant at arms and gunners
on the skull.
No, let's find out. It's probably a good thing to. It's probably a decent thing to look up. You know.
I mean, lethal 4 is pretty nuts, right? Like it's a very good average.
But it's only like a 1/2 damage. It's like,
oh yeah, that's true. That would totally suck.
It's like, ooh, lethal. You can kill a guardsman.
I wish this was an alphabetical order. Okay, so we have Geist Skull. Here's the Navy Geist Skull. Does it have the exploding? Yeah, I have no idea. So so it's not the Grenadier. Who pops this guy?
It's the Void.
Void what?
The Void something.
Void Jammer.
Yeah.
Geist Skull Detonator. 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. 3/4, blast 1, lethal 4, limited 1, silent, stun, and detonate. Okay. Not bad.
That's really good.
Pretty good explosive.
Hits on 3s, lethal 4. What?
Blast.
You're gonna get so many crits on this.
What are we doing?
Yeah, Into the Dark. That's just like kamikaze that thing right up the board.
Yeah, that's the plan. Oh, and of course, because blast doesn't really matter now. But yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, Into the Dark it wouldn't matter because it's lethal 4 now. Anyway,
right already. So
lethal 4.
Still cool.
3/4 damage.
That's pretty cool. I kind of like that.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Jimmy Kelly, you hear us? We're talking really good things about your
breachers.
Your breachers. You should play him at Worlds.
We're gonna hype him up so much, and then he's gonna come in last place.
So the next buff to these guys, we can just don't have to call out each individual operative. Everybody goes up a wound. Everybody has all their stims are back from previous edition.
Hell yeah.
The sergeant at arms and the gunners at 9 wounds. It definitely breaks new metrics, which is really good.
The endurance.
I hate the endurance. I've always hated him with a burning passion. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass to kill. He has now 11 wounds. He's even worse, you know? And then you have all the other little homies up to 8, which is, pretty good. It's a very good buff for the team.
Unkillable now by a single hit from a chaos guy. Just saying.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No more skulls for the Scroll Throne with 1 hit. Yeah, and then they get like damage reduction. They get a whole bunch of stuff. So looking pretty good. Next up, we have Legionaries. Now, Legionaries, like I said, people were very upset with this change.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this.
Janis, you're going to have to run us through it since you are the faction kind of specialist here. We will go back and forth between the two, but Fickle Fates, what did Fickle Fates do before? What does it do now?
So before, sorry, it's been a minute since I've played Legion.
Here, I'll pull it up and then we can kind of go from there.
If I'm remembering, Fickle Fates was
I wish that in the thing they would like show like the whole text so you don't have to go find it. You know, that would be nice. Fickle Fates. Whenever a friendly legionary operative is shooting a ready.
Yeah.
Let me zoom in so people can
That's
read
still
this a
the
little
same.
better. Whenever a friendly legionary operative is shooting a ready enemy operative, that friendly operative's ranged weapons have the balanced weapon rule.
They had before it had punishing.
Okay.
Which, because you are, if you had a Zinch Mark operative, you had severe for all your shooting weapons, and because if you ran this with punishing, you would immediately get a free
Critical, right?
You could retain a miss as a hit, I think, is what.
Yeah.
For punishing.
Yeah, and now it's just balanced.
Good. So, whenever this operative is shooting a ready friendly legionary Zinch operative in the roll defense dice step, if you retain any critical successes, you can retain one of your fails as a normal success instead.
Yep, that remains the same.
Cool.
Because so
then we've talked about
it's a nerf if you're, in my opinion, Fickle Fates is a nerf if you are a Zinch. You've been running Zinch marked guys. For everybody else, it's kind of
whatever
lateral, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get a reroll. Because if you didn't get any crits before, you would have to. It would do nothing for you if you didn't get a crit. But if you got with Zinch, you automatically get a crit.
Mm.
So.
And then we have Blood for the Blood Gods.
Captain shakes his power fist.
Maximum of 7, and then the Khorne melee weapons maximum of 7. So you can't ever do more than 7, which is, not okay for my precious little vet guard, but pretty sucky for everyone else.
Here's my thing about this that upsets me in my Khorne loving ways. Sacred number of Khorne is 8.
Yep. Sorry, you ain't getting it no more.
Yeah. This is also a buff to Inquisition, because of Navy breachers.
They get to survive another hit.
Again, I don't know if Kasrkin are still the way to play. Maybe breachers will start to be seen with Inquisition, but this is a buff to all 8 wound teams.
And this is a buff to all elf teams as well.
You're not wrong. I didn't even think about them.
Whenever at LVO, I smote many an elf with one hit.
Yep. Just run him up the board.
This is going to really upset James Robinson. Take that. We have strategy ploys, implacable, Nurgle keyword moved to other paragraph and paragraphs reordered. What does that mean?
Okay. So before, if you ran implacable with non-Nurgle marked models, you could ignore injury. If you had a Nurgle mark, you would ignore piercing 1. Now all legionaries can ignore piercing 1, and only Nurgle can ignore injury. This is actually a bit of a buff in my opinion.
It is a buff. Yeah.
Huh. I mean, it goes to piercing crits, so so you still got to roll a critical.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's piercing crits.
Okay. All right. I mean, not awful, right?
No, it's not awful, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sideways.
That's fair.
Yeah,
a little sideways.
They're both good options. Yeah. Though I think personally, I'd prefer if I could have all my guys with no injury, though.
Yeah, but legionaries, in my opinion, haven't been that great for a while. So because of the sins of early edition.
Yeah, it's the sins of worlds. They are suffering, and they will continue to suffer. Speaking of which, we haven't got another Chaos Marine team. I wonder, that's going to be fun, exciting whenever we decide to get them.
Yeah, because these guys are rolling out here.
In fact, I think they're next.
Yeah, well, not for every tournament. I keep seeing that in every Discord. Oh, every tournament is killing off all these teams. That is not the case, guys. It's just for classified events.
Yeah.
Games Workshop open events, and certain other events, right? So you just check with your local TO. If you don't want these teams to go away, make sure you tell your TOs, right? This is community first. Going on to Nemesis Claw, they are in the shed. They got drug into the shed after they got taken out behind the shed. So in Midnight Clad, it used to be 6 inches away and visible too. Now it's 8. Now all pistols can shoot them at maximum range.
Yep.
It also makes it so that your charges are way harder to set up. You know, probably a good thing, but still kind of sucks for them.
Yeah.
There's one change, and I'll say the one I think I hate the most, but this is not that one.
No, I know the one you're gonna hate.
Yeah.
Return to Darkness. Let me pull up Return to Darkness. I want to see that whole rule in its entirety, because it did change quite a bit of words here. Where is these ding dongs?
So
They're there.
There it is. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to these guys. It's in Darkness, Return to Darkness. When a friendly Nemesis Claw operative can immediately perform a free fallback or reposition action, but it must end that move with heavy terrain within its control range or any part of its base underneath advantage terrain. In addition, it cannot move more than 4 inches during that action, and it cannot end the move closer to enemy operatives in a kill zone that uses close quarters. Example, Gallow Dark. Ignore wall terrain when determining this.
Okay. I think this had full 6-inch movement.
It
before.
was that was a
Was
that
it
was a
6?
big one. You could do your full movement, which again, this isn't that bad. You could still you just have to be like, okay, if I return to darkness,
I thought it was 4.
No,
it was 6?
It was the full 6.
Oh my
So you could play a little more aggressively. Like I would do this with gunners all the time, or like the heavy gunner, move out, shoot. Like they think they're going to get me. No, they're not. Return to darkness, and I was fine. All right, so I can't be as aggressive. Oh well.
At LVO, this was not but in January, this was not nerfed so that you couldn't like approach people on Gallow Dark.
Yeah.
So like people were going up 6 inches and then moving up to the door on the opposite side with the move and dash, and then throwing the tox grenades, you know?
Yeah, it was tough, man. Because the doors don't count as being closer yet, as long as the doors aren't open.
It definitely seems like the intention from the rules designers is that they don't want operatives to move more than really 10 inches in any given turn from anyone. You know, and you kind of see that. Well, I guess Sanctifiers can move 11, you know, maybe 11 is the maximum that they want them, because they can move 3 inches and then they could charge 8, you know. But it looks like a lot of these things are nerfing some of those movement cheeses where these operatives are like moving like extremely far distances. Like this would have been what, 6 plus 3 plus, so this is a 13-inch move still, instead of a 16-inch move in one turn.
Back when you could do it in Gallow Dark, yes.
Yeah.
Because with Return to Darkness, there's obviously specific, like you got to be heavy or you got to be under advantage. So there's still some setup.
Mm-hmm. I think that's down here somewhere.
Yeah, so it's not so bad. That one wasn't that bad. So obviously the last one must be the one I hate.
Oh yeah, this one's awful. This one kills the team. This one,
I think
this is just as bad as Dueler. Go ahead.
I'll read it out real quick. So the Visionary Operative, his prescience rule is, this is the most important part. At the end of each turning point, discard your prescient points before you could roll them. And maybe you don't roll so hot in the first few turns. That's okay. You don't use them just yet. You can kind of like bank them and have them ready. And I've played a few games where if you just don't roll, like I was rolling a bunch of ones, like, oh, okay, I'm not doing like half of anything. So having to discard them every turn and you can't try to save them at all and bank them, that could suck, right? You can't use your skip an activation. You can't use your also get a command point, and then you can't go like, you didn't actually hit me with a normal hit, you know? So now you just have to kind of really be like hoping that you get a good roll. So this team is much more swingy, and a swingy team isn't necessarily something that's going to be like hyper competitive. No. But like Angels of Death, right? Obviously, I feel like we're maybe being a little too negative.
Nope.
We're not trying to be like, these teams are all still really strong in the toolkits, but for their competitive play, like this is something you don't want to rely on swinginess, right? You don't want to rely on an opponent doing something for you. And these are some of those, one of the rules that hits that. And I could see this team kind of taking a big slap to the face.
Swingy teams don't win tournaments.
Yeah.
Swingy teams also will lose half the games that they play because of swinginess, just in general, right? Like if you depend on dice to win, whether you're playing at home with your friends, you're playing on stream, right? You're playing in the back alley, or you're playing at a tournament, right? Dice are going to lose you games.
Yeah, Nemesis Claw went to the casino, rolled the dice, didn't get hot, and they took him out to the back of the shed and killed them when they owed the money, and that was it. They're dead.
They got caught cheating,
there
at the casino. So now they got new dice, and they get their dice changed out every round,
rough.
Relatively bad, especially considering the team was at a 50% win rate, and again, the most popular team in all of Kill Team for the past 3 months, right? How many unique players did this? 120 unique players throughout the entire world. Of course, these statistics come from our website, and David runs our website, and it is 4-round tournaments with 16 or more players, right? We look at more competitive stats than I would say like typical stuff.
I wonder if
Go ahead.
This is something I wondered. I wonder if like the Soul Hunter series like sold more books after this. I don't know. Just because Nemesis Claw are cool as hell.
Yeah, they placed in 14 events. Awesome. They only won 2 of them, right? So they're not winning those top games, but they are doing well enough to get there. They have an average score of 13 points per game, which is just about average. And then it looks like I have placings twice in here. Whoops. So, it's relatively rough for these guys. They're going to fall, I think, 40% below.
Yeah.
That's going to be my guess.
They're going to at least be under I'm thinking they're probably going to be between 40 and 45. They're going to be just below that sweet spot, in my opinion.
My hot take is 38%.
Whoa.
They're going to be chilling in the muck with AOD.
Hey, you know what? AOD used to have a good counter with them with Dueler because Nemesis Claw likes melee.
Not
anymore. Now you got to shoot them. Oh, wait, they're always obscured. What do we do?
Not anymore. You got to be within 8 inches. You can be within 8 inches.
Yep. So at least your heavy bolt pistols can do some damage.
Maybe AOD will raise the win rate. You never know.
Yeah, maybe it's like they start beating up all the guys who are at their level.
Yeah. Next up, who do we have up next here?
Novitiates.
I don't want to talk about Novitiates.
Theirs is so easy.
Can we skip Novitiates?
Right. We can talk about them in the one sentence they have.
It's just their one sentence.
Yeah, they have ugly models. All right, let's go. Tell me what's going on with Novitiates. Novitiates are almost as bad as Tau.
They're changing Blaze. That you have to inflict damage with a critical success rather than a regular.
That's right. And you have to actually inflict damage.
Yeah.
Because before you just had to retain a crit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Which I think is fine. I think anything that like is going to do that ability you should do the damage first.
Agreed. You should inflict the damage.
Right, because otherwise I deflected the flame. You didn't hit me, kind of thing.
This is an alignment thing with
Sanctifiers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exciting. Next up we have
Phobos.
Pathfinders.
Oh, Pathfinder. Just kidding. I can't do alphabetical order.
Well, you didn't want to talk about Pathfinders. Let's be honest, G.
It's still in my box. I said I was going to finish them. I never have.
Now is your chance. They're actually, I have no idea. I don't know if they're good or not. So we have Recon Sweep, cannot be used during first turning point. That is a movement ploy. Once again, they're nerfing some stuff. Easy, not very hard. This one I tried to understand, but I'm going to have to actually look at the model's rules to actually understand it because there's a lot of purple text here that they added to it. So it's difficult for me to understand. But it's the MV33 Grav Inhibitor Drone Operative and the Grav rule. So let's pull that up and see what is the change with them, Pathfinders. And we have them here. This is the Grav drone. What does the grav drone even look like? I'm so xenophobic. I don't even.
I mean, I would say he's round with a stick coming out of his head. he's at the very end of the list. At the very end of the list.
Oh yeah, you're right. He is a round drone with a stick coming out of his head.
Exactly.
Just like every other one. The only one that's like
the recon is very, very noticeable. Yeah.
You know who else doesn't have a gun? The shield one. So it doesn't help me. Yeah, you know. So we have the grav drone inhibitor here. So the first bullet point, which this is in reference to, whenever an enemy operative performs an action in which it moves, excluding dash, if it would move visible to and within 6 inches of this operative, treat that distance as an additional 2 and ignore the additional distance from obstructing an accessible terrain rules. I didn't understand any of that. I just read it out loud.
So instead of like, let's say you move 6 inches, now your move would be 8 inches because you're adding 2 more to it.
So you pair this with a razor wire. Is that what that what I'm seeing with this? Like,
yeah, and you really mess someone's speed up. Like,
this is so the other thing you can do, I'm assuming, is put this on conceal on a vantage, and then no one's ever getting up to that vantage. Is that also what I'm kind of reading? Takes 3 inches to climb a vantage, and then an additional 2.
Yeah.
So you.
Yeah, because it just costs you more to do the movements, which is what made it hard.
So was this a buff? This was a buff, right? To this operative.
Yeah. I do not know what this model's rules were before.
I don't know either. And then its second bullet point is whenever an enemy operative is fighting or retaliating and visible to within 6 inches of this operative, worsen the hit stat of the enemy operative's melee weapons by 1. This is cumulative with being injured. You know what's crazy?
This is the only model that it's cumulative with being injured. This is the only instance that I know of in Kill Team where it's cumulative.
Which is interesting. Rare. I mean, it must not be as much of a problem that they didn't touch this yet.
No one uses this thing.
Yeah, no one does.
Maybe someone did just for that one very specific thing.
So this is
because the whole point of the grab inhibitor is to slow you down. Your opponent's down.
So, this is the new Plague Marines. You know, just bring one of these guys, and you have a Plague Marine aura within 6 inches almost. It's not the same exact thing, but it is similar. Interesting. So imagine a Space Marine coming up and trying to charge up to a vantage with this homie up there, and it's like, oh, now you hit on 4s. Yeah, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, that's also an option. Like, you really just slow them down, make them worse. I mean, maybe the grav drone will be a thing again. Who knows? That was always one thing. I enjoy the idea of Pathfinders. It's just they have so many drones, and in the kit you don't get enough to make that. So it's kind of like, There's a lot of things going on with this team.
There's only enough to make one little drone, and everyone makes the gun drone.
True.
You got to make the recon drone. I mean, it makes sense from the name.
The recon drone, yeah, of course, but that's not the same kit piece as the little drones.
Yeah, you're right. From the little.
I missed 2018 Pathfinders where it was just like you could just spam drones. You know, like it was very exciting. Maybe one day they'll bring that back.
Yeah, drone spam.
Yeah, drone spam. You know, and maybe we'll get a full team named after it, like Plasma Spam. Moving on to Phobos Strike Team, they have deadly shots. So relevant to the first part of this sentence, changed to read is more than 6 inches from it. So what is this saying, G?
So before, like I was talking to David about this, and I'd said I don't know if this is too crazy of a change. Because either you'd stand still to do deadly shots, or you'd have someone in no cover. So the trick would be you'd run up and get within 2 inches of somebody, and now they're not in cover, and your deadly shots can work. Which means you kind of got to like circumvent their thing of not standing still, because like I still got to move forward and then do deadly shots with no cover, and then you had balanced, you know. So he was saying it's going to affect it. It probably is, because you kind of wanted to rely on moving a little faster. I don't know if this is going to end the team, though. I think they're still going to play pretty well for the most part.
This is the only elite team that's going to continue living on, in my opinion.
Raveners.
Yeah.
Well,
Right. The Astartes team. I think well, I mean, we're about to get to them right now. I think Plague might still have some play, don't you?
I think Plague has play. I was talking like they are very much injured and they're going to struggle against some of the teams that they definitely always beat in general. Like Felgor might have a chance against them and a few other things as well. But they also have a ploy that you can just like pop and poison somebody if you're in control range with them, right? So, and we'll have to see. Plague Marines are up next. Janis, tell us about Contagion and why. I think it's a bad choice. I will say, I think this is a bad choice for a nerf to the team. Contagion has been a thing since their release in 7th edition of Warhammer 40K. Or it was 8th edition, the beginning of 8th. This has always been a thing. It's always been a thing for Nurgle. If you're within range, a certain range of them, you either get minuses to hit or you get minus a dice, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it's always been a thing. But now poison, which it should be like contaminated or toxic, you know, besides the point, is now their faction rule. And this is almost taking a backseat because now they're deleting within control range. Now you actually have to poison somebody for this to take effect.
Somebody
Tell
has
us how
to
it's
be
going to affect
poisoned, or they have to be within 3 inches of the icon bearer, and visible and within 3 inches of the icon bearer. And with a lot of people kind of play real cagey with the icon bearer because that's your free contagion ploy model. Once you get them across the midpoint of the board, which is a feat in itself. But yeah, now if you have somebody rock up on a Plague Marine and you have Contagion running, you're not -1 to hit anymore. Unless they're poisoned.
Right,
Yeah.
so I guess you'd have to combo Virulent Poison more.
Yeah.
Every single Plague Marine...
And this team's already CP starved.
This is one that's hungry for it. That's the one thing that kind of keeps them in check, is that they don't really get more CP until something maybe comes out in the future. But I don't think there's anything like that right now, right? There's nothing that does that at the moment.
It gives pluses to CP?
Yeah, I don't think there's like nothing that comes to mind. Not for this team.
No, not for this team.
Yeah. What's interesting is every single Plague Marine player I've talked to today has absolutely hated this. They think it's against the lore. They think it's against kind of everything else.
It's against the lore, and this is really, in a lot of ways, the only thing keeping their getting stomped in melee.
Yeah, I could see that. Good thing they don't have to worry about Dueler anymore. You know,
I was just about to ask you, Janis, if you had to take one of these rules back, would you rather get the Contagion back or would you rather get Dueler back?
Because I'm a Plague Marine player at heart.
Boo! Boo!
But I think Dueler keeps more other teams in check.
One thing we forgot to mention, both in Phobos and Hierotek Circle, we mentioned it earlier when we did the core rules change, but both those teams got a nerf because their guys are still using guard.
Yeah, guard a lot.
So
Plague Marines use guard tons too. Like
they did.
Marine team.
Like I was watching Sean play Plague Marines, and against Blooded, he just put like 3 Marines in a room all on guard, and like he had another 2 Marines in another room on guard. And I'm like, yeah, this is why I hate guarding on Into the Dark with Marines. It's just
right, which I think is why it's fine with you can't counteract afterwards, because that's kind of like guard is sort of like your counteract,
Mm-hmm. I've been scarred by Plague Marines. I am not sad to see them get hurt.
I think Plague Marines are going to be about 45% win rate after this.
Well, they're already at 40. I think they're already at a 44% win rate. They're also, so currently currently Plague Marines are sitting at a 44.74% win rate, and they got a nerf.
Then I'll say they'll be down there at the 35%.
They've won 2 tournaments, right? That Tacoma's one of them. And they've placed in 12. So they haven't done like super, super well at the top of the tables, but they have like at the top, you know, like actually being able to beat the final team, the final boss. But they have done overall really well this past data slate.
Yep, that's no longer going to be the case.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to drop them, but maybe not everyone. There's still some people that think they have play. Now, I think the thing is like when people start to play them, is that still going to be the case? You know? So
I think the only reason you're going to see a lot of these Marine teams still have play is because everybody has them.
True. And they're painted.
Yeah.
By this point. And, you know, the starter box is also pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good right now. And then we're almost done through these factions, I believe. Sanctifiers is up next. We just have 3 more teams. Warpcoven last.
Yep.
So we got Sanctifiers up next. We have the Confessor and Lead the Procession getting nerfed. So you have to be within 6 of him, and you cannot move more than 3. This is a very elegant solution to the problem that is called Lead the Procession. You know, it's going to take a lot more of skill in order to use it correctly. So I think that we're going to see their win rates, their play rate plummet, because it's not just a free win a lot of the times when we see players playing this team. And it's also a different thing than I was expecting. I was expecting them to be like, hey, you have to be within 4 inches of this guy's, you know, a very interesting, creative way to fix this. What do you guys think about Lead the Procession?
I really like this because having a full reposition, fallback, charge, what have you, was a full 6 inch was insane. It was just way too powerful.
I also would have liked anyone that this model moves through or whatever could do a counteract move, you know, or something like that. That could like up to 2 inches and not had to be within sermon range. It also could have been a cool thing, but it could be broken. Very good change in my opinion. What about you, G?
It's fine, right? Because like we mentioned, doing a full 6 inch reposition is kind of like, really? That's what you get? Dang.
You get 2 turns?
Yeah, like wow, you can move on. And that's one thing. Like when ABTT, I was watching Zach play, and boy, were those guys like he waited for a few turns to move him, but then when he decided to move him, they booked it to where they were going.
Well,
like it was wild.
And this shuts down the 2 preachers with the special weapons.
Doing the Melta or the flame thing that they have.
They're not necessarily Alpha Strike, but being able to get up the board and get in position to cause pain, cause a lot of pain turn 2.
Way less cheesy, and this is also way better on Beta Decima. We just released a podcast on that. We should be releasing the video on that pretty soon. Yeah, so I mean, they're better. They're not as oppressive on Beta Decima, which is nice. Everything else, I mean, it's a nerf, but it's not the end of the world for Sanctifiers.
Yeah, you just have to play smarter again, which is kind of what the first nerf did.
And then we have the Imperial Cult Devotee. This is the same thing. They have to be visible to the icon dude in order to get one more action.
Right.
which is good.
Which is good. That's good. Anything
we have.
Go
ahead, G.
No, that was it.
Then we have Blaze, which is inflict damage. They have to inflict damage with their Blaze token. Ultimately, I would have loved to see much harsher. I would have loved to see much harsher nerfs to this faction. I think this faction is one of the least fun teams to play against, but it's very fun to play. I will say it's a very, very, it's a ego boosting team just to like have all your people activate 8 times, pretty exciting. But, it is, I know, a team that people have really disliked to play against. So I'm really looking forward to this team specifically getting nerfed, at least in something, right? Like AOD can only shoot now. We can't fight in close combat anymore. So why does this team get damage reduction, shoot well, fight well, damage reduction well, heal?
This team still needed a reduction to their damage, or needed a nerf to their damage reduction.
Yes.
Because their damage reduction is still bonkers.
They have just a scratch. Remove just a scratch.
It's the only team that can take damage down to one?
Something like that. Yeah. We all know they're a problem. I think Games Workshop also knows they're a problem. But I think this has always been a typical thing. We never see a team really get a nerf until about the 3rd data slate in. So it takes about 9 months for, in my opinion, to see a team really start to get nerfs. It has happened in the past with like Chaos Cults, but it is not something that we would particularly see. So I would say over the next 2 data slates, we'll probably see this team get more.
If this team is still overperforming, I think next data slate you'll probably see the hammer come down.
Yeah, I would. We can all hope and pray to the Emperor Almighty.
If you pray to the Emperor, these guys will get a buff.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Pray to Chaos.
Scout Squad's up next.
This was.
I'm gonna have to pull this one up. Emboldened Aspirant. Like, what is that?
That is the.
That sounds like a chaos ploy to me.
No, he's like emboldened. I'm ready to become a Marine.
This is the guy. The guy's like psyching himself up to go kill someone that's tougher than him.
Right. He's ready to earn his black carapace.
To me, it sounds like he's getting ready to die.
If you're that kind of Imperium player,
it could happen.
Let's see here. Emboldened Aspirant. All right, I found it. So we have it here. Let's zoom in on it. Use this Fireflight ploy when a friendly Scout Squad operative performs the shoot or fight action. After any rerolls, if it's the first friendly operative to perform either of those actions during this turning point, or if the enemy operative is in that action, the primary target is relevant, has a higher wound stat than the friendly Scout Squad operative, you can retain one of your normal successes as a critical success instead. So the Emboldened Aspirant is good at killing Space Marines.
Mm-hmm. Things that are tougher than him. He can kill the what is it called? The 11 wound model, the Shield Man.
Oh, the Endurant?
Yeah, he can kill the Endurant because there's 11 wounds.
Hey, fuck
and
that
it's
guy.
and it's talking about the stat rather than how many wounds they have left.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Okay.
Yeah, this is more of a clarification than a buff or nerf.
Yeah, it's totally a clarification. As Melty, another friend, the same friend who also plays them, had said like, you can kind of, it's not really too much of a change.
So at the end of the attack die step, so after any rerolls, so after it performs a fight or shoot, okay, they can retain one of your normal successes as a critical success.
Yeah, so even if you get rerolls and don't get great rolls, you can still
use this.
You can still use this.
Yeah, it's
cool.
nice. Yeah, it's just a nice little thing.
It's one of the few things that you can actually change dice after rerolls.
Okay, all right. Janis, what about Purity Seals? Can you use Purity Seals after you reroll? I always said
no, because you have to discard.
Well, if you use 2 rerolls and they both remain misses, then can you remove a dice and then make one of those a success? I think
I would say no.
Yeah. I think I've been ruling yes. Personally, you know.
Personally, I would say no, but you're a TO. I'm not.
Yeah, I think that's something that we should.
I mean, we could.
I hope we could get clarified in the future. You know.
Yeah, because I mean, I always assumed you could do your rerolls, and purity seals are kind of like insurance.
Mhm.
So like if it turned out you did have a bad thing, you're able to use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I thought it. That's one of their equipments, right? Now you got me curious.
Yeah, it doesn't really say anything.
I always
like
forget I have the things when I play Angels of
Yeah,
Death, so-
yeah. All it says is if you roll 2 or more fails, you can discard one of them to retain another as a normal success.
Then it would it would be after rerolls.
Yeah.
So you can it's insurance.
Yeah, I mean that's always been an interesting one. So we have Warpcoven up next. Sorcerer operatives. So what their attack stat? I'm assuming it was 5, and then they have the balance.
5.
So what did they
The
have?
Kopesh was
Rending
cool.
as well, or was it like what was before? Now it's just balanced.
Ceaseless before, I think.
Ceaseless. Thank goodness. Okay, so we got rid of
balanced.
It was either ceaseless or rending.
But to be honest, I never
Or
saw
not rending,
sorcerers.
Ceaseless or relentless.
Yeah, so I never saw these models really going into melee very often and killing people. Like you saw it very rarely, but they're too important to take any trade or damage, right? So this seems like a really weird nerf. You know, I don't know what's going on. Maybe because Plague Marines got nerfed, so now these I don't know. So we have strategy ploys, Brotherhood of Sorcerers. Instead, they got rid of Ceaseless, and it's just balanced.
Yeah.
Cool.
This isn't going to affect this team at all.
No.
Yeah.
Not enough.
I mean, Ceaseless is really strong. I wish they got rid of Ceaseless on Plague Marines personally, rather than this. Than what their current change, because I think re-rolling a bunch of dice is always good. But balanced, all right, whatever. You know.
Yeah,
and that's
Warpcoven. They're still gonna be the alpha in the game. I think. I don't think anything is going to dethrone them.
It's just the amount of operatives, like getting to switch and go like, I can have this many is like that's the rough part.
It's the amount of operatives and the flexibility. The only thing that's going to remove this team from being in the number 1 position is classification.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Is removing them from the game. I mean.
Yeah, I think for me, touching on classification, since it was also brought up in the Warhammer community, maybe we can bring that up. We can talk about it a little bit.
We do need to talk about that. What was at the end of the?
I can also bring up my. I don't want to bring up my D&D campaign. You know, let's not bring that one up.
Oh, we can talk about your D&D campaign.
Yeah, it's cool. Good. Yeah. We got. What were we looking up? Oh, it was Warhammer community.
The last paragraph in the Warhammer community article.
Mm-hmm.
And is that in featured news? That's definitely not this Black Templar one. Summer preview? Is it in the summer preview one?
No, it's in the where
Death Watch Tomb Worlds one.
It's at the end of the Kill Team one.
The announcement.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah. We get nice close-up pictures of. Terrain. How did I not know this even happened?
It's all good.
Oh, they got exploding walls.
Walls, yeah, that pop out.
What's going on? This is a
something a wall.
You got okay. I don't know how these open, but that's exciting. Okay, I'm sorry, I haven't got to see any of this. This is 100% genuine, real reaction. This picture definitely looks like it was just taken. Like I don't think this is a real setup. Why would you put a door when you could just walk around the door? I don't know. Is that a teleporter? What is that?
That is a teleporter. That's the thing.
Or is that I think that's a teleporter.
Oh no, I think the green things on the floor are the teleporters.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. These are cool.
You're in the wrong article to go for what we're going to talk about.
Yes,
I'm
it's
in the
the
wrong
kill team
article?
article. It's the kill team article for like the balance
This
data slate
this is a kill team article. Okay.
for the
Go
balance data
back to
slate.
the
Yeah.
go back to the community homepage.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I'm on
Okay.
it.
It's
Scroll-
no longer
scroll
featured.
down.
It's on the side.
It's on the side. It's right next to it.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, wait.
Whoops. So this one?
Yeah, that.
Yes.
Now scroll the whole way down.
Okay.
Right
All right.
before the downloads page.
Right there.
There you
That's
go.
the paragraph.
Oh, this is it. Okay. So updates to the classified format are approaching alongside the annual rotation. These updates will be made to the approved ops tournament companion, which will be found on the Kill Team app and the Warhammer community after the World Championships of Warhammer in 2025. Strike Force Variel, released in the Warhammer Heroes series, will not be a part of the classified format. I find this very fascinating. They got a lot of people excited about Warhammer Heroes coming out with another strike. I know for a fact that Giacomo started building the team,
Yep.
right? And
I have all
now
the
they're
parts.
not going to be classified.
Except the lieutenant.
For
Yep, so
squad, go ahead, G.
No, that was about it. Yeah.
For squad games events, we're going to be looking at the rules before we decide whether or not they will be allowed at our events or not. If they're bad, they're probably going to be allowed. You know, if they're broken, we probably won't allow them, you know, because who knows how these guys are going to be. But moving on to talking about the classification stuff, you know, I've seen a lot of woe and dome, you know, I don't even know if that's a real thing. A lot of doom and gloom.
I like Woe and Dome.
Woe and dome.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of that on Discords, but I've also seen a lot of people excited about it. So those are also pretty cool. We have published our, no, this is not the right one. This is not the right one. We have done a couple things here. It's not the code of conduct. I also did just update that. It is standardized team format. We have a huge little section down here. I know this was also just talked about before in our Discord. Somebody was asking me questions about it. That is not it as well. Giacomo, do you want to tell us what we're going to be doing for these?
Yes. So when we start moving into classified format stuff, the big thing we're going to be changing is anything from the annual. So like the annual teams and the White Dwarf teams will be disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mostly because you can't really buy this stuff anymore. It's and White Dwarf has always been kind of one of those difficult ones to purchase. So you don't really see a lot of new players getting into it because you have to buy way too many parts, which could also see why, like, for example, Hunter Clade maybe like kind of died off with only 6 players because no one wants to buy all those parts.
It is a very expensive team to try to collect everything.
Yes.
And they don't sell the cards. They've never sold the cards for these teams.
Mm-hmm. So I'll just read off of this because I wrote this and I think it's well worded. Classification will not be used for the squad games circuit currently. Squad games supports the long-term goals of the classified format for Kill Team because we do, right? However, we believe that classification should be applied thoughtfully and with consideration for player experience, because that's what we've always done here at Squad Games. Player experience is always number one.
Yep.
Particularly when it comes to teams that are still available for purchase. Currently, several Season 1 teams remain available through official sales channels, and in these cases, our concern is not with the balance or meta performance, but with player accessibility. If a player purchases a team that is still actively sold in 2025, they should have the opportunity to build, paint, and play that team at events before they become ineligible. Just like Magic the Gathering, it was always told to me and argued to me that why classification needs to happen is because of what's it called? Like Magic the Gathering terms, right? Like, oh, cards rotate in and out. Cool. But they do stop selling those cards 2 years before they go away.
Mm-hmm.
In support of a healthy, growing community, Squad Games will continue to allow these teams still supported until a reasonable transition period has passed following their removal from sale. Now, we will see when Games Workshop stops selling the teams. We will kind of adjust from there. I'm guessing it's going to be about a year, right? Maybe if they pull them off the shelves and stop selling stuff before, we can adjust that. Maybe we want to do it a little bit longer. Like we have to kind of see and feel out the community. So we will be getting rid of White Dwarf and annual teams, just like Giacomo said. For instance, they have not been sold in boxes for a very long time, like Gellerpox and what are the other guys?
The Star Striders.
Star Striders. They haven't been sold in format in a really long time. Definitely not this edition, even though for some reason I'm getting that Bernstein Bears effect where I could have swore I saw Star Striders in one of the new boxes.
No,
didn't happen.
Not on a new box. Instead, it was in the Inquisition box for 40K. They're trying to get rid of them, right?
Yeah. Also, they were never really released in those like some of these teams have never been released, right? They've always like Warpcoven. You have to buy just a bunch of boxes, and they received clear notice from Games Workshop in December of 2024 that this was going to happen in the first place. So for that reason, we will be removing Void Dancers, Warpcoven, Wormblade, Hunter Clade, Gellerpox Infected, and Star Striders from our golden ticket events, right? That is not going to be for our friendly events, which are going to be 3-round events where we have a bunch of fun and exciting rules. And that also will not be for our narrative events. You can still play all of these teams in those formats, but if we have a golden ticket, we will be, or if we're running some sort of hyper competitive event or a competitive event in general, we will not be allowing these teams once classification happens, right? So make sure you come to LVO, give these teams your last hurrah for our scene, and then the next LVO, these teams will not be available. So, yeah, that's kind of where we stand on classification. You know, I don't want to put Janis on the spot about what she thinks about this. So
I'm with you. I feel that the annual teams need to go to the way of the dodo.
Hey, but you know what? Maybe in the future, a team similar to Warpcoven will come out for a kill team. Who knows, right?
Or Void Dancers. We can always hope that we will see another Harlequin. I mean, clowns are too popular not to really exist in the game, so we can always hope that happens, you know?
Having said what I said, people out there need to know I am a huge Wormblade fan, and I'm even saying that about one of the teams that I'm very passionate about.
It's because Warpcoven exists and they're a massive problem.
It is because Warpcoven exists, to be honest.
Sorry, Warpcoven, you did it again.
Yeah, you're too bad for too long and then too good for too long.
They earned this. They can be good for this last round before we take them to the back of the shed.
Yeah, Warpcoven has earned this hate.
Yeah,
and especially...
And another thing about classification, right, is your local metas very well may never classify teams. Yeah. Your stores will never classify teams. Like, don't stop playing these teams. They will be supported until the end of the edition, right? And then we don't know what the Games Workshop hasn't announced anything, so who knows? But like, you know, I keep seeing people over and over and over saying these teams are dead. I might as well move on. I talked to Brandon Bean after the thing, after Tacoma, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm going to move on from Blooded, which is his favorite team. You know, I'm going to move on from him. And, you know, that sucks.
Well,
you know,
he at least has them through for official events through Worlds now.
Through Worlds, yeah. And then he'll be able to play him at LVO for 2 more years if he decides to come, you know? You know, I think that's, or this, I would say this year and then next year at, you know, a minimum. So, yeah, I mean, I think that it's a stance that we took, you know, and I think that that's, I think it's reasonable, you know? So, I would urge if you're a TO and you're listening to this or watching this, I think it's an important question to determine and let your community know what you want to do, or you can take a poll and see what your community does. But make sure that you're getting a poll from everyone and you're not just polling people who go to your events regularly, right? I think classification innately stops early player development. So make sure that if your scene is still growing, to try and make the right decision for your scene, and then, Games Workshop also suggests that classification happen for golden ticket events, but it's not a requirement, right? So again, make sure that you are making your right decision for your community. And if any player feels very strongly about this, reach out to your local TOs, reach out to your locals and tell them, like, maybe you just want to play Commandos forever because Commandos, the OG best kill team ever made, that perhaps. So make sure you let them know. Make your voices heard. I think that pretty much wraps up this discussion on the balanced data slate.
I have one last question.
Ooh.
Always the secret nerf or buff. Inquisition. What do you guys think?
Given that the only team that they have access to got a buff.
Yeah, I think it's also a buff that elites got nerfed.
Yeah, honestly, I think so.
Yeah. Elites didn't necessarily scare them, but having elites' power taken away definitely increases Inquisition in totality, right? So Inquisition has always been a boogeyman, and no one's really playing them. But
maybe they'll come back now because they don't lose to Plague Marines.
Maybe they'll just win. Yeah, maybe they'll just win LVO again, or not again, but win LVO. Like, who knows? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Let's do some shout outs here at the end. Janis, do you have any for us?
RIP. Ozzy Osbourne. RIP. Rest in peace, Bad, my man.
What the hell? I forget that this thing does effects.
Giacomo just, I can't do it because I'm not on Discord.
He was in the concert mode there. I was like,
yeah.
It's my tribute.
Tribute to Ozzy.
Yeah. How about you, G?
You can join the conversation by going onto our Discord or leaving a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Tell us what you think about the balanced data slate. Are elites gone? Do you think so? Maybe you're like, nah, elites are even better now. Who knows, right? But let us know. We'd like to hear your opinions, and we're all about that. Also, check out our other things on YouTube, such as the Hobby Highlander, our battle reports, and more meta watches to come. Also, if you didn't get to see the stuff behind me, which is just a bunch of commission stuff I did that with our our Highlander Hobbies brushes. That was specifically the size 2 and 4. I used a bunch of those the whole time in order to get this paint job. You can pick your setup right now. That's on our website at squad-games.net. There it is. If you're watching this on the video, you can see it now. Otherwise, there'll be a link in the description for you to pick them up. It's curated with 4 different brushes that Dakotah, myself, and Dakotah, Saya, and I, there you go, chose. And we thought it would be best for a lot of painters to begin with. So, go ahead and check that out. I highly recommend it. It comes in those 4 sizes. It's nice brushes. They're good looking. And, they're nice. That's all my stuff.
Thank you, G.
How does their tongue feel for when you're licking the brush?
Delicious, Janice. Delicious. For us paint for the paint eaters over here, I made sure that they were nice and supple for your tongue.
Yeah, I grew up in the 70s, so we were lit paint eaters.
Yeah, so I just want to thank you for making it to the end of this video or podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. I just want to do another shout out. I told this at the end of our last one. Make sure that if you are playing Kill Team, you are trying to maintain to be the best sportsman that you can. We really want to emphasize that sportsmanship is a big thing in a very competitive game. And if you have poor sportsmanship, it not only, makes it worse for your opponents, but it also makes it worse for the overall event that you are at, or even in your local scene or your store. This game is small. We have a lot of people that are learning, so try to be as graceful as you can, and make sure that you're having a good time, because that's what matters. So That's my shout out to all the sportsmen out there. Can't wait to see you guys at LVO and
like
our
me.
most, yeah. And then also we do have an event coming up in Southern California. It's called the Midsummer Mayhem. It is our last event of the year in California. The next event that we will be attending after this is the Las Vegas Open that we will be running. And then I think we're going to have Mike and Robert back for TOs.
Yeah.
Saya and her sister will be running the store. Giacomo and Marty will be running the stream. And it's going to be an awesome time. We ran it awesome last year. I can't believe that I got the same people to come back and do it again. They must like me. Who knows? And then hopefully we'll be at Worlds in some fashion. Hopefully we'll be streaming, but that is not necessarily the case. So we have a lot more content to come out throughout the year. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And that's going to be us signing off.
See ya.
Shout out to Alex Popov.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Shout out to Alex Popov. That's the secret message at the end of the video. Shout out to Alex Popov in the comments.
Rock on.
Yeah.